Hello everyone, welcome back to the KMTRADERS channel. So this is the full market analysis 113. So just giving you an insight of what we've got up for next week and compare analysis from last week as well. So we're going to start off with gold. So pretty much what we looked at last week was a potential sell-off. We were looking at that zone of 220.60, pretty much found rejection and momentum continued lower. So it was at the 14th. So we can see price continued rallying lower, so it's pretty much what we've got from last week, so that's pretty much fine. So what I'm looking at for now is, again, price coming into 1880. If we can get into this level, in theory we could probably find a potential turnover. Again, we're not entirely too sure, but for now what I'm thinking is with gold is that we need to kind of come back down and then pretty much see a turnover for them to expect, price to take out the high and probably head into 2100, probably going just a little bit higher. So what I'm looking at right now is pretty much price turning over within the next few days or so, but maybe next few weeks. So let's take a look into EU. Okay, so for this, pretty much what I was looking at was for essentially a move towards the upside, but the other possibility was that we pretty much could have a downside move before that upside. But yeah, through this week we see price pushing up higher, so that's perfectly fine. What I'm probably anticipating now is just to see that continuation higher. So what we could expect is a minor pullback within some degree, but in theory there is this ability for price to go higher. There is another option that I am looking at, and that is if price wants to make one more low, which I don't think is possible, but again, well, I don't think it's likely rather, and I think we could be, I'm just going to basically keep that option in mind just in case, in case we're wrong throughout the first part of the week. But yeah, ideally this is where I'm probably looking at first. Let's take a look into NZD USD. So that's a pretty much similar process here. So yeah, what I was anticipating was a downside move, but pretty much there was the upside taking hold. So what I'm looking out for this is a possible turnover still, whether it's going to, where are we right now, so 69, 0.69, if we're still around that level, we could expect possible rejection and lower, but either way, we're pretty much just waiting for this. So where the price goes a bit over into 69.5 and then falls over, then that's pretty much what we're looking at for. But mainly we're looking for sells, so that's what I'm gearing up for. So a couple more pairs to obviously discuss. So we're looking into probably like price coming into 0.67, so good, kind of good levels to go through. Moving on to AU. So this one was a rocket. Yeah, I was pretty much anticipating price to eventually swing over. What we can now potentially expect now is a possible turnover to the downside, which I feel is coming because we've really pushed up really high. So I think there is a pullback in store for us. So I'm not entirely too sure how far this will go down, but I think there is a pullback in store. So we can take this as a general bias, but there could be a potential short-term sells and short-term buys along the way. So that's that. Let's take a long look at USDJPY. So for this, pretty much I was waiting for a deeper pullback. Price never really gave us that. Just continued pushing up higher and higher, so that's fine. I think more or less we could be expecting a sell-off sooner. Maybe next week. I'm hoping it's next week. I don't think price can consistently go up and up through 2 weeks. So what I'm looking out for here is pretty much a turning point towards the downside, and then we can probably then review if this is going to completely sell off or if it's going to continue to push higher. So yeah, so moving on to USD, CAD JPY. Again, price continuously pushing up higher, so I think there is a pullback in stall for us. I'm not entirely too sure how far it will go down, but most likely we can definitely expect price to pretty much switch over to the downside. Like I said before, the price can't consistently go up for 2 weeks, so there is a prior turning point soon. So whether this, comes back down and then goes back up, I'm not entirely sure, but I am looking for sells, and then we can pretty much go through with that kind of bias. But yeah, in terms of the RSI, I think it pretty much is overbought right now, so there is a possibility that, yeah, this could turn over. To be honest, this is massively overbought, so interesting, as we've had price reach that before. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that pair, CJ. The next one that I've got is EJ. So pretty much was looking for the anticipation for a deeper pullback, but it never really gave us or fulfilled that for us. So I've got, well, we drew out 3 scenarios here, and I think they were pretty much extensive, but I don't think I really gave an opinion in case price was to go really far above without a pullback. So that's something for me to kind of consider. But what my options now for this pair is pretty much to see if we are going to continue to push up higher. We can look at retest, continuation play, or we'll see a potential reversal in which price could make that deeper low. And then from here, I probably will just leave it at that, because there is a possibility that price could drop off, take out 124, or it could, again, rally back up. So I'm not going to look at that, because I think if price was to do that, this huge sell-off and then a huge buy-off, I don't think price will do that all in 1 week, let's just say that. So we can review next week what happens with this pair, but really just watching 133 as a critical level, and we can pretty much decide after that. So last 3 pairs, AUDJPY. So the options were that we had last week was, complete sell-off, or we would look for a continuated rally. So yeah, pretty much nice and easy. I don't think there was any hard things to even look out for this one. Like I said, if you were all the way in from the downside, from the bottom, you'd be pretty much fine. But again, if you're just trying to get involved, I think you pretty much have to wait. So what I'm going to be trying to look out for now is a possible sell, but I'm not entirely sure how far it will go down. To me, it just makes sense because there's a pullback that's needed, and we can pretty much just wait for that to happen. So I'm just going to be keeping an eye out for some sell-off opportunities, but maybe through the week we could look at some short-term buys. We don't have to really go aggressive with it, but yeah, either way, we can see what's going to happen next week. And then finally, the last 2 pairs, USD Chef. So for this, I was looking for price to potentially turn over, find some rejection on 94. Where was we? Yeah, so we price, pretty much pushed up, had a little short-term buy, but yeah, ultimately we were looking at price selling off right now. So maybe this is my bias. I'm going to be looking for that over the next few days. If we start to break above 95, so this level here, this is pretty much going to be then a continuation play higher, and then I'm going to review what's going to happen next. So, but ideally we're going to try and look at 91. So yeah, that's my kind of bias there. And then finally, USDCAD. So again, you're going to have to excuse my alerts because they're all over the place, but yeah, pretty much we're going to be watching this at 126 level. If we can get a push up, then we could be looking at some buys. Not entirely too sure how far this will go, but most likely it could go all the way to the 128, 127. or the other option is price to break lower, and if it does, then we can look at a retest and we could possibly go into 124.5. So yeah, that's pretty much all of my takeaways for this video. This week, obviously has been quite, actually, with the Japanese yen, pretty much straightforward and quite bullish. But yeah, hopefully this momentum continues on throughout the next week. But yeah, if you did get any value, feel free to leave a like, make sure you're subscribed, and of course I'll see you guys next week in our next week's video. So thank you all for listening, and see you all soon.